Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a lovely car. This is a Honda Civic 1.8 EX manual. 63 registered car. It covered just 37,000 miles from new. Finished in black with a full matching black leather interior. The car is lovely. It's a really lovely day, low sunshine, which is why I do the videos in the shade, because if there's any marks, it will show up more clearly actually when the sun's not shining brightly on them. So I'm not trying to cheat, it's exactly what I was told to do. I'm a photographer and I'm not that. Lights and lenses, clear and intact, there's no cracks, condensation there. Bonnet, very clean, any stone chips, light and as you'd expect the age of the vehicle. Near side, very smooth in the panels, can't see any obvious indentations jumping out at me. But it's been just washed off, not been sort of polished or anything, but it's very clean. And any marks again will be minuscule, so the usual kind of light abrasions, but the car is now 11 years old and black. It's actually done the miles incredibly well. Come around the back, nice and clean. Slightly later models because it gets the front and rear parking sensors, which weren't on the original EX actually. Offside, again, lovely and smooth in the panels. Very, very clean indeed. So I do prefer to do it when it's slightly overcast, but whenever it's overcast at the moment, it's pouring down with rain, it would appear. That's in really lovely condition. Coming to the back of the car, cavernous boot, really huge 60/40 fold in the rear seats, and the lower section there levels to give you, lowers down to give you 2 levels. It's coming to the back, and this is basically the Achilles heel of any family car because it's where the kids sit, and ordinarily very heavily used. And yet this one looks as though they've banished kids on the back, and quite rightly so. It's in beautiful condition back here. Coming to the front and the passenger side, very clean siding. Set of mats in there, some passenger seat, sorry, in absolutely beautiful condition. So finally coming on the driver's side, again very, very clean and tidy. The whole area is almost in clean. Driver's seat again for an 11-year-old car, remarkably good condition. So inside the car now, engine's running as always the case. The dash can be seen illuminated. A stunning interior this is. Sat nav you can see working exactly as it should. Likewise rear parking camera as well. Coming down, just been kept absolutely beautifully. Just to show you there, hopefully you can see 37,245 miles. Engine's running, no warning lights on dashboard at all, and that's I often say the best dash design anywhere in its class. It really is. Finally, just to show you owner's manual pack and lock and roll nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda Civic 1.8 EX. Car's registered, if I can read it. Can't read it, try and bear with me a second. SA63VFF, and mileage at the start of the road test is just 37,237 miles. The reason for all our videos is simple. We just want to make sure that if anyone's looking at the car in the advert, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. The reason is simple. Unfortunately, like loads of people, have been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only then to get them find out there's an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. Coming to the car itself, low mileage, lovely history. It's going to combine to give you a nice car, and it certainly does. Without wishing to be a complete spoiler, it drives absolutely beautifully. Twist the key, engine starts instantly and settles to a smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all, aside from at the moment a low fuel light, but I'm just going to the petrol station, so that'll be out by the time anyone sees the car. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car. The engines are simply brilliant. The most reliable and longest lasting engines in their class. Cam chain driven, no cam belts to worry about, but more important than that, just a lovely engine to use day in, day out. It's flexible, smooth, very fuel efficient, but when you do put your foot down, you got a nice induction sound, but as revs rise, it's not that kind of coarse, horrible mechanical thrash you get in so many of its competitors. It really is a beautiful engine. Engine then feeds into the clutch and gearbox. Clutch, as you'd expect, such a low mileage, perfect. Bike point exactly where it's meant to be. So all in fine order there, and it's nice and smooth. Gearbox is just brilliant. Again, Honda always do good gearboxes, and this is no different. Because what they try and give you in a world where most front-wheel transverse engine cars, gearboxes are joined to them by cables, on the whole, or pretty much all cars. Unfortunately, that generally leaves you with a light, lifeless, vague, quite often notchy gear change. And this is the absolute polar opposite of all of that. It's just beautifully done. The gearbox, it feels like the gear lever is going directly into the box underneath, but it isn't, of course. But when you change gear, you make with a lovely mechanical selection of the gear, which is just really pleasant to use. And it feels exactly as it would have done when it was new. Just there's zero wear in that at all that you can feel. Then we come on to the steering and chassis of the car. My favourite part of these Civics always has been. It's just a lovely car because it does two things brilliantly well. If you just want the car purely to get you from A to B, you and your family comfortably, well, it does that as good as anything in its class, or as well as anything in its class. Very compliant ride, very well judged. Only the sharpest ridges tend to catch it out, as they would do any car. But what it gives you, for the people that enjoy their driving more, you've got this lovely steering, nicely weighted, but it's very positive, very direct. It also, by the way, tracks dead straight, and there's no vibrations. I'm at the legal limit now, it's just nothing there at all. But it talks to the chassis brilliantly. As you turn, the car's going in one motion with it, but it's got a real eagerness to the chassis. So different roads, different challenges, different corners, it just eats them up, but in an enjoyable way. So it's got a bit of soul to the car, unlike so many of its competitors. Incidentally, suspension, absolutely no rattles, clonks, nothing comes from underneath that shouldn't be there. Brakes are really good on the car, nice powerful brake pedal in the vehicle. There's no pulsing or vibrations going back through the pedal at all, so all as it should be. And then finally coming inside, the car, by the way, yet to be cleaned. It's literally just arrived, but it's in lovely condition, as you'd expect. But the best dash design in its class by country mile, in my most humble of opinions, which I totally admit is, these are Marmite interiors. You either like it or you don't. There's no kind of in between. There's no ambivalence to it. But what is indisputable is it is beautifully put together from very nice materials. But it works. It's not just to look pleasant in my eyes. Ergonomically, it's fantastic. The most conventional parts is this centre stack. You've got a big sat-nav screen, one of the easier ones you're ever going to use, with hands-free telephone, DAB, all sorts of functions on there, all working perfectly. Down below that, climate control system, which gives you the option to have different temperatures side to side if you so wish. And that also pumps out absolutely lovely cold air, which I tried in a warm workshop just a few minutes ago. Heated seats again working as they should. All of the switchgear, everything you press has that beautiful high quality damped feel that Honda give you. They are masters at it, and it will feel the same in hundreds of thousands of miles time. But the best bit, in my opinion, by far, is this two-tier design in front, because it is just genius. The upper deck is the stuff you're going to look at most regularly, so you don't want to take your eyes off the road for too long. You've got an information panel up on the left-hand side with some fairly standard stuff. But if you change things like sort of radio station, fan speed, you've got a little display down here. If I press the button to up the fan speed, I get a much bigger one up there, so you're not having to squint to see it. But the one everyone should be looking at most regularly, of course, is your speed. And there it is, white on black, crystal clear, in your eye line. So basically I can look at the car ahead, pedestrians, whatever happens to be, and I can see my speed instantly. It is genius. And then down below that, more conventional pod of 3 dials, rev counter flanked by temperature and fuel gauges. But a lovely car, absolutely lovely. Cannot fault it in any way. It just feels, and I hate saying it because it is such a cliche, but it really just feels like new to drive. It's absolutely stunning.